Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Taiku, and today we have the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak reference 15400 in the gray tone dial. I don't remember exactly when this was released, but it is one of their latest models, and it's in the 41mm case size. Since its launch in 1972, the Royal Oak has gone through several design modifications, and this reference, 15400, with the gray dial, is, to me, the perfect one. It does come in 4 different dial variants, including the blue, silvered white, black, and this one, the gray one. Back in the 1960s, Audemars Piguet, or AP, as I'm now going to refer it to because I'm not going to say that whole name over and over again. But yeah, back in the 1960s, they used to make dress watches. There wasn't a lot of sport watches back then, so most companies, they made and sold dress watches. AP had the idea to create the first high-end luxury sport watch that was made entirely of stainless steel. That may sound ordinary today, a sport watch made out of stainless steel. What else would it be made out of? But back then, it was definitely not ordinary. The result of that would be the Royal Oak, which at the time, there was nothing that resembled it at all. The creator was Gerald Genta, and he created a bold and extremely intricate steel watch known as the AP Royal Oak. It has various finishes on the many components and an integrated bracelet. What it's most known for is its insane astronomical price tag, even compared to other watches of the era, and the other watches were made of precious metals such as gold, and the Royal Oak was much more expensive. One of the most recognizable features of the Royal Oak is its dial. It's often referred to as a tapestry dial or tapestry dial. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but it is the pattern that you see on the dial. The grill-like dial was created by Rowland Hill, and he was a dial maker, and to achieve this, he used an extremely old-school decoration technique called pantograph engine turning. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds freaking cool. The dial itself is pretty basic, nothing crazy there. It's got the stick markers, the date window. So the date window, it has a matching date disc, right? So you can see that the date window is it's the same color as a dial essentially, whereas on the old APs, on the old Royal Oaks, the date disc was white, I believe. So it kind of created a contrast, but most people like a matching date disc. Inside the watch, AP uses the caliber 3120, and it provides up to 60 hours of power reserve, which is really good, as most watches right now are around the 48-hour mark. Unless you're talking about some of the in-house movements, like the Tudor, which has 70, and the Rolex GMT, the Batman, it's listed on Rolex's website with a 50-hour power reserve, whereas some of the other Rolexes, I think they're 48. Okay, I just checked. The Rolex GMTs are all 50-hour power reserve, and the Submariners are 48. So for most watches, the design of the case is usually more important than the bracelet, as the bracelet usually comes secondary. This isn't the case for the Royal Oak, because AP was one of the first brands to experiment with a bracelet that would fully integrate into the case. It was interesting at the time because AP has never dealt with stainless steel before. Every part of the bracelet is finished with traditional high-end finishing techniques. It has a combination of brushed and polished surfaces. And you can see it shines and glimmers in the light. The finishing is just insane on this. This is probably one of the nicest bracelets I've ever seen on any watch. It's simultaneously rigid, pliable, as in it forms to your wrist perfectly. It's masculine, and it can be elegant and it can be dressy. The shape and the natural weight of the links give the bracelet solidity. It feels super solid. The manufacturing of this bracelet is very difficult and incredibly taxing. The first prototypes that AP made, they had to be made in gold, since gold is easier to work with and mold, and because AP did not have any experience working with steel at the time. The bracelet itself is composed of 20 links and double that amount in studs held together by pins. The sides of the bracelet are polished smooth, and they are very closely interlocked, and they look like they were just cut from one single sheet of metal. It takes roughly 6 hours to machine, polish, hand finish, and assemble all the different parts into the bracelet. And what you get is one of the most finely tuned steel bracelets out on the market. No other bracelet on any watch requires that much man hours. It has a double folding clasp, so you push this to release it. So when you put it on, you have to make sure that you put this side on first, and then the side with the logo. As I mentioned before, the bracelet is integrated, but you can actually change the bracelet onto a strap, but that would require a conversion kit so that the plots can be added and the straps are secured in place. Depending on how the light hits the dial, it can have a different shade. It can go from light gray to dark, almost blackish. On the wrist, it wears fairly true to size at 41 millimeters. The bracelet is very comfortable. It's a little tight because I somehow put it over the glove. It's probably one of my favorite bracelets on any watch, especially comparing it to the Rolex Submariner, which I guess, I don't know, I like the glide lock on the sub. That's usually what sways me for it. Because during the summertime, your wrists can swell up, it can get swollen, and the glide lock is extremely easy to use. The Easy Link on my Batman I've never really used because it's a set it's a set size, so it's either too big or too small. So yeah. The retail price for this watch is $17,800 US. That's quite a bit for a watch, but this can be your pretty much one and done everyday watch that you can wear for the rest of your life. Now to the question of why I picked this watch. I'm not really quite sure. I've always wanted an AP. They were taught to me that's high horology, and it was a class above Rolex. Although I wouldn't say they're a class above, but it's definitely made really well. and rappers tend to rap about them in music videos. But I do know that I picked this specific one because of the bracelet. That was the whole reason I picked this one. Other than that, I probably would have gone with the Royal Oak Offshore. Would I say this is head and shoulders above a Rolex? No, I probably would not say that. Although it does shine and blings more than my Submariner or my GMT. Actually, I was reading a back issue online of Watch Time magazine, which I have a subscription. So if you have a subscription to Watch Time magazine, you can go back to the archived issues, all the way back to the first issue. I think it's from like 1999. Which it's a great deal. You get to go back and pretty much reread the whole magazine of when it was released. But anyways, they were comparing the Rolex to the AP in one of the issues way back, and the pricing was similar. The AP, I believe it was priced at $5,000, and the Rolex Submariner at the time was around $3,000. So it has always been more expensive than a Rolex. But anyways, I'll probably do a comparison review of the AP versus the Rolex in one of my later videos. Anyways, if you like this video, click like and remember to click subscribe. And if you have any other watches that you'd like me to review or buy to review, please comment below. Thank you.